Hi, dear friends. So, how are you? Today, the topic of this design talk is design presentations. What to say? So, basically, what are we going to tell to the people that are watching or to the board of management that is watching us starting to present our own project? So, this is very important because, of course, the told story, the storytelling, the explanations that you have to give on top of your beautiful drawings or model that is just next to you have to be very cohesive with what you have. And very important is this presentation, this storytelling is going to tell to the people, to the audience, exactly what they cannot even imagine. So it is very important how you do it, okay? In which order you give that informations or those informations, and also how you are able with your way of presenting or your oral presentation to create the interest and the curiosity with your audience, so that there is a real connection between you and them, and they will follow you from the beginning until the end. And this is basically what a successful design presentation should look like or should be. So, but now let's analyze what is really a design presentation. As we all know, we will have our final drawings, renderings, models, scale models or full scale model, whatever you have. But the most important thing is that we have some topics, some informations to give, and therefore we will have to start very soon to speak, to take the word. So, for a second, imagine how the audience is feeling. They are there, they see this beautiful model, those drawings, and they are really, really curious to hear you and to listen to you, to understand more in detail, in a deeper way, what this project is about and see whether there is an interest. On your side, you have to make that presentation so nice that their curiosity is satisfied, and that a real nice, strong interest can be, so that your project might see maybe a future. Whether it's for a concept car, a show car, a next step selection, okay, or simply for the final production project. So when you start your oral presentations, you know very well that you have three main important things to do during your oral presentation. The first one, it's your introduction, okay? Then you have your content, and then you have your conclusion. All this should be kind of quick, kind of fast. You don't want to talk too much, especially in the content area, in the middle, because that's when basically people lose a little bit of attention. I don't want to say interest, I say attention. This is something that is very natural because it's very human. At the beginning of anything, we are very curious. There is a sort of adrenaline in our brain, and we are very careful. Then there is a moment where we kind of give up psychologically, and then toward the end, when somebody says, and in conclusion, and ending my presentation, people wake up, and they listen back, they listen to you again with lots of attention. So you understand by this, by what I'm saying, that the beginning and the end are the most important part of your presentation. And the middle is the content. It's just a bunch of information that you have to give, of course, that they can go and just kind of remember. But the most important message you give at the very beginning and at the end. So when we talk about the introduction as the first element of our presentation, very important element, we have a message to give. And this message must be simple, so that everybody can understand, clear, Okay, so your speaking, you know, your words, your phrase, your grammar, your everything has to be really clear, smooth, so simple. Keep it simple. And then most important thing is that all this has a message. You are giving a message, okay? And the message is the first thing that will stick in their heads, and they will say, ah, now I understand what this project is about. Already there, they got more than 50% of your presentation. So in the introduction, you don't have to say just one phrase, like the apple is green. You can say that the apple is green, and the green apple is a very specific variety of apples, because generally the apples are yellow or red. But what is so particular about the green apple? You know, already this creates a sort of interest, curiosity. There might be in the audience a lot of people that really like green apple, so they will be even more curious. Of course, the green apple is a metaphoric example. But anyway, so you have to find the right words, the simple phrase or sentences to put together to give to the audience that beginning that is very, very important. It's, I would say, strategic, okay, for the good results of your presentation. Then you go into the content, and in the content, you can divide the content into three main parts, okay? Now, if being a designer or a design manager, if you say, we wanted to make this design very sexy so that the reflections would be very juicy, and you can see, in fact, here on the side, if you start like that, it's gonna look like simply a styling presentation. And styling presentation for a designer or a design project presentation, it's very mediocre. It's not good enough. It's like you are taking out importance to the work that has been done by your team, by yourself. You have to talk about design, not styling. So all those details that are referred to the styling, the beautiful styling of your car or your product, those can come out at the end of the content. The first one is architecture. Because you are a designer, you start from architecture. And architectures very often in car design means different type of proportions. And we have to justify strange proportions on a car. There are some people in the audience that will look at the car and they will find it a little bit awkward. But if you explain that new type of shapes and weight balance is given by the architecture for a good thing that could be a better ergonomy, more space for charging, okay? It could be a new technology on the opening of the doors, therefore the spaces available are different than a traditional car. I mean, if you justify between architecture and the new technology that you use on this project, the three main elements to describe the new proportions and therefore the design advantages, you know, that they can come out of those new proportions, then the people that will be listening to you will understand really well why you design like that, the team designed like that, and how well they did. And then at the end you can say that the design and the styling was done, of course, respecting those sort of hard points that became an opportunity. An opportunity to make that design a special design project. And this is the end, when they will be probably waking up to recapture the attention, and therefore you can add a few other information. But basically, as we said, the content is divided into three parts: the architecture, the new technology used, and design codes, which means the design key elements, you know, that put all this together as a whole, as a design project, for what it is. And then after the content, we have the conclusion. So as I told you at the beginning, the conclusion, it's very important, just like the introduction, because there we have again the attention of the people that are looking and watching this presentation. So in the conclusion, we have to take back the message that you gave into your introduction and put it back into the conclusion, maybe with a little different words, okay? But that's what you have to do. So if, for example, your introduction message is, today I'm going to present to you a full electric vehicle that will solve the new mobility or the last mile delivery in this town, in the town, or in small town, or in the small villages without any problem, you know, about electricity, recharging and stuff like that. In the conclusion, you have to repeat those concepts, those ideas, so that they recall what you said at the beginning, and in their heads, in the audience heads, everything makes sense. So in the conclusion will be, so as you saw, as you understand, as I explained, thanks to this architecture, thanks to the new technology, this project is really answering to the main problem, which is, I don't know, the recharging or the autonomy in the small village, because there are not too many points for charging, because there is, I don't know what, etc. So, just to make a resume of what we said about what to say or how to say when we have a design presentation project in front of an important audience, whether it's our board management or other people, or whether you are in school, and then you have your teachers, maybe a sponsor project, maybe some, of course, the other students that are competing with you, of course. Then we have the introduction, the content, the conclusion, all right? The introduction is the most important message that has to be given in a very simple, clean way at the beginning. The content, you can divide it into three parts: architecture, new technology use, design codes. And when you talk about design codes will be the explanation that ties the whole project together, okay? Because design makes the synthesis. And then in the conclusion, we go back to the original message of the beginning. We reinterpret that message with different words, of course, but what we want to do, we want to reinforce that message. In fact, the conclusion in America, for example, it's called as the reinforcement of the main message in communication. Now, there is another thing that we have to add at the end of this design talk video about presentations, design presentations. It's your body language. Body language is very important, because there is something that few people really pay attention to. So first thing, I give you an advice. When you have to present in school your presentation, because of course you have presentations, or if you're a young designer and you know that tomorrow morning it's your first important presentation, you know what you do? You take what I have in front of me, okay, which is a telephone, you put it on tripods or whatever you want, and make a presentation. Film yourself. Film yourself. Then you take that film and don't watch it at normal speed. You take that film, 10 minutes is enough, and then you put it at faster speed. When you put it in the faster speed, you will realize exactly how your body language is behaving while you are talking. And this is a very nice, cool trick. You're gonna laugh, of course, like everybody laughed. I did this when I was a student. And I did this experiment again when I was a teacher with my students, because people don't realize. And believe me, I did this also myself, because being Italian, I talk sometimes also with my hands and my body. So it is important to understand where is your defaults when you are talking, how your body language is behaving. Because body language means someone that looks like a clown, so it's not nice, believe me, and somebody that looks like a professional. Even if it's moving, we don't have to be like little statue, of course. Each one of us has own personality, way of moving the hands, the arms, to explain, to reinforce messages, the expression of your face and stuff. That's very important. But it all depends how you do it. And I was like a dancer at the beginning. I remember my videos when I was in school. I was laughing like my classmates. That's normal. That's normal. But we can re-educate ourselves. Because when we know that, we can think about it. And then looking at that, we know that, for example, if we have the bad habit to move a lot from left to right when we talk because we are nervous, therefore talking and moving our legs, it's a way to discharge our stress, then we have to learn how to do it without that. Because we cannot go back and forth all the time, because the people will be just following us and they will get lost. Some of them will get mad, annoyed, not mad, but annoyed, disturbed by that. So if you look at showmen on TV, okay, or actors, you realize that their body language is really, really well done, because they know all those tricks. Those tricks, those experiment with the camera, the fast speed. Those come from the movie business, of course. So politicians, for example, do the same thing. They have a speaking doctor that tells them what they do wrong, because that wrong element or habits or behavior can become the clown effect on the people. And therefore, even if you say good things, that message does not come across, because people are concentrated on the fact that you look like a clown. So I strongly suggest you to do this trick, and then you realize that if you move too much, you have to learn how not to move too much. If your head is moving too much like this, or too much like that when you talk, it's not that nice. If you smile too much when you say a phrase and then you smile, and you say another phrase and you smile again, that will look a little bit stupid. So you have to, I'm not with you, so I cannot help you on that. But one thing is for sure, you have to understand that your eyes must capture the people that are looking at you, and that you must be natural enough not to be a clown, but to be perceived like a professional. And therefore you can move, but you cannot be agitated. You understand? So do that trick, try that experiment, film yourself, take that video of 10 minutes, okay, and talk about your project. Put your drawings on the wall and film yourself. And then say everything you want to say on that project. Then you will go and take that video and you will make it run double speed. And you will see yourself if you look like a clown or like a professional. If you look like a clown, you will know by looking at that video what you cannot do or what you are doing too much. So this means do not overdo doing your behavior at a presentation, because that thing becomes a character. And believe me, during an important presentation, especially in front of a board of top managers, one thing you don't want to become is their character, because that would be very, very bad. Okay, so I think and I really hope that this message today about our design talk, making a presentations, what to say, what to tell, and also how to behave in terms of body language can be really useful to you. If you have comments, put your comments, I will answer back to you. If you want to ring the bell so that you know every time that there is a new video from me, click the bell so that you will be advised, okay? You'll be noticed about that. And if you like this video, share it. Share it among your design students, friends, or anybody you are interested, okay? Thank you very much and see you to our next design talk. Bye.